Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 9 Part 32 based on novel. So let's start. The enormous life-death coffin cover suffused with thick black light drew a black light arc in the sky, and unceremoniously smashed violently into the fist thrown by that giant illusory figure. A frightening energy ripple swept apart at this moment. That seemingly ferocious-looking giant phantasm exploded apart after being struck by the black coffin cover. A human figure miserably shot backwards after the phantasm exploded. This body heavily smashed into a huge tree, shattering the tree trunk to dust. A mouthful of fresh blood was spat out from Xie Yang's mouth. At this moment, his somewhat handsome face was overwhelmed with shock. He lifted his head and looked at Mu Lingshan in front of him, who hugged the black coffin cover with both hands, with eyes that were filled with disbelief. He had never expected that this seemingly young little girl would actually possess the strength of the perfect profound life stage. Moreover, regardless of what kind of powerful martial arts he unleashed, he was ultimately unable to match the casual swings of the coffin cover in the little girl's hands. The gap between the two had already been clearly revealed. He was completely no match for this green-cloaked little girl in front of him. This truth caused Xie Yang's face to become a little flushed. It was rare for anyone amongst the younger generation of the Heaven-Wind-Sea region to defeat him. Yet, he had been beaten to such a miserable state by a little girl after arriving here. Would his reputation not end up in ruins if news of this spread were to spread to back home? It's your fault for being so dislikable. I will beat you to death. However, Mu Lingshan completely ignored him. She hugged the life-death coffin cover, and once again violently swung it while muttering under her breath. Xie Yang fled some distance away in a miserable manner. He had already tasted the might of the life-death coffin cover in Mu Lingshan's hands earlier. Naturally, he did not dare to let the cover touch him. Blue light flashed in front of him while his body was pulling back, and Mu Lingshan appeared in front of him. She grabbed with her small hand and a suction force erupted, hand over the silver tower. The suction force surged, and Xie Yang's sleeve jerked. His Qianquan bag flew out and was grabbed by Mu Lingshan. You? Xie Yang's expression quickly changed drastically after seeing that his Qianquan bag had been taken. His stern cry had yet to completely leave his mouth when Mu Lingshan's life-death coffin cover ruthlessly slammed towards his face. He was frightened to the point of not caring about the Qianquan bag, as he hurriedly dodged in a miserable fashion. The death chi that swung past his face resulted in waves of piercing pain vaguely seeping out from within his pores. Mu Lingshan's small hand held the Qianquan bag. She gently tossed it in her hand, before revealing a wide smile that revealed her two tiny yet sharp upper cuspids. However, this cute appearance caused the corners of Xie Yang's eyes to twitch. Only after having exchanged blows did he realize how terrifying this beautiful doll-like little girl was. Mu Lingshan grabbed the Qianquan bag and began searching it. Immediately, a small silver tower appeared in her hand. It was the item that Xie Yang obtained from the auction. If you dare take this object, my demonic wind cave will definitely chase you to the ends of the earth. Xie Yang cried furiously. His eyes had turned red upon seeing this scene. Demonic wind cave. Mu Lingshan curled her small mouth. Her expression was one of extremely disdain. The burning sky cauldron in the air suddenly trembled after Mu Lingshan obtained the small silver tower, after which, an elderly figure shot out from it. Elder Mosia. Xie Yang quickly rejoiced after seeing the person who had appeared. He hurriedly cried, "Quick, she has snatched the silver tower." His voice ultimately came to a sudden halt. A shock quickly climbed into his eyes. This was because he saw that the Old Demon Mosia, who had fled from the burning sky cauldron, appeared to be in a complete mess. Even his aura was rather weak. Clearly, he had suffered quite a serious injury. How is this possible? Xie Yang's pupils shrunk. He violently inhaled a breath of cold air, while his face was covered with disbelief. He had never imagined that Old Demon Mosia, whose strength had reached the initial profound death stage, would actually be wounded to such an extent. His opponent was merely a little brat who was at the initial profound life stage. Old Demon Mosia had an extremely ugly expression, and his eyes were clearly a little frightened. Only at this moment did he understand why the nefarious bone old man had been injured until that extent. Go? Old Demon Mosia's body moved and directly appeared beside Xie Yang. He grabbed the latter and quickly fled. Old Demon Mosia, the Silver Tower! Xie Yang hurriedly cried out upon seeing this. However, Old Demon Mosia completely ignored him. At this moment, he had already been wounded by Lin Dong. If another attack like earlier was unleashed, he would definitely suffer extremely serious injuries. At that time, it would be pointless to remain behind. Hence, he grabbed Xie Yang and moved, transforming into a grey light that quickly vanished into the horizon. Lin Dong's figure also hurried out from the burning sky cauldron after Old Demon Mosia fled with Xie Yang. After which, his eyes looked in the direction they had fled towards, before he violently coughed once again, and spat blood from his mouth. "Brother Lin Dong, are you all right?" Mu Lingshan hurried over and asked in a worried manner. "I'm fine. I just overexhausted myself." Lin Dong waved his hand. The burning sky gates were indeed powerful, but the exhaustion he felt was far too frightening. Fortunately, Old Demon Mosia and the nefarious bone old man both shared a similar characteristic, which was being afraid of death. Otherwise, if the latter was to continue fighting Lin Dong, the ones who needed to flee would change. The current Lin Dong could only barely deal with an expert who has truly stepped into the profound death stage. "Have you obtained the item?" Lin Dong asked. Mu Lingshan nodded. After which, she handed over the silver tower in her hands. Lin Dong received the silver tower. He felt the familiar ripple from it, and an excitement which could not be hidden involuntarily rose on his face. He had finally obtained this thing. We should hurry and leave. Lin Dong flipped his hand, and kept the tower into his Qianquan bag. After which, he waved his sleeve, retrieving the burning sky cauldron into his body, as he remarked in a deep voice. Currently, the area around this sky merchant city was extremely chaotic. Although they had frightened away Old Demon Mosia earlier, no one could guarantee that the old fellow would not return. Hence, they needed to leave immediately. Lin Dong's body swiftly rushed forward after his voice sounded, while Mu Lingshan quickly followed behind. In a few seconds, they had fled into the mountain range and disappeared. This area quickly became quiet after the two of them left. If it was not because of the mess all over the place and a couple of corpses remaining, it was likely that no one would be able to imagine that the group from the demonic wind cave was forced to retreat after such a great defeat in this place. A gentle breeze blew past. Soon, the space above a giant tree became distorted, and two figures flashed and appeared. They were a man and a woman. The woman was relatively familiar. She was war red, and was Tang Dongling from Sky Merchant Court. The man, on the other hand, appeared to be middle-aged. His hair was both black and white, while his eyes were as deep as the sea. A special fluctuation was vaguely emitted from within his body. This caused the surrounding space to become a little distorted. "Father, it seems that the silver tower has been snatched away by the Lin Dong duo." Tang Dongling watched the scene in front of her, and involuntarily spoke in a startled voice. She had never expected that the Lin Dong duo would actually be able to snatch something from the hands of a profound death stage expert. That little fellow does have some powerful techniques. However, it is always a one-time use. If the opponent was a little more ruthless, he will be in trouble." The middle-aged man smilingly said. "The item was snatched at our Sky Merchant City. I'm afraid that the demonic wind cave will definitely pester us, right? They should be clearly aware that with Father's strength you will definitely know about it." Tang Dongling stated. "Ha ha, it is pointless to look for me if they do not have sufficient strength to protect their treasure." The middle-aged man spoke with a faint smile. Moreover, the object held by the little girl should be the life-death coffin cover, and it is likely that she is a member of the immortal Sage Whale clan. Even the demonic wind cave can only shatter their own teeth and swallow them in the face of this clan. Immortal Sage Whale clan? Tang Dongling was startled. She never imagined that the little girl actually possessed such a shocking identity. "What about that silver tower?" "Ha ha, that silver tower is a key to open that cave dwelling. However, it is merely one of 3. The remaining 2 have already appeared in other sea regions, and already have their owners. Although he has managed to obtain one, how much he can gain from the dwelling will depend on his ability. I am rather interested in that cave dwelling. Unfortunately, at our level, we are unable to enter that region. Looks like the master of the dwelling seems to really discriminate against people like us. The middle-aged man smiled faintly, and quickly shook his head. With a wave of his sleeve, the both of them once again disappeared. Only their lingering voice drifted over the place. Over 100 figures gathered on a grass plains in an extremely chaotic manner, while wild and violent majestic yuan power fluctuations spread in a flood-like manner. The intense battle caused even the surrounding yuan power to show signs of being rebelling. This appeared to be an encirclement attack. The dozen individuals at the center were all experts from the demonic wind cave. Currently, they appeared a little miserable while being surrounded and attacked by various factions. A ray of light suddenly rushed over from the distant sky amidst this huge battle. Quickly after, an elderly figure appeared in a flash. With a wave of his sleeve, a black ripple containing death chi swept apart. Some unlucky individuals immediately released miserable screeches upon contact, as half of their bodies were gradually paralyzed. Profound death stage expert? This sudden attack caused the numerous attackers' expressions to change. Their gazes were hurriedly thrown over. Soon after, a series of exclamations were emitted from their mouths. That is an elder from the demonic wind cave, Old Demon Mosia. He is actually also present. The elderly figure was completely revealed in front of the many shocked eyes. At this moment, his hair was in a mess, and he appeared a little miserable. However, his eyes were filled with both fury and hate. Elder Mosia. Those experts from the demonic wind cave rejoiced upon seeing this. They hurriedly rushed forward, and landed beside Old Demon Mosia. You bastards! How dare you target my demonic wind cave? Old Demon Mosia's eyes were stern as he looked at those experts from various factions in the sky. The earlier feelings of suffocation and anger within his heart had completely exploded at this moment. He immediately took a step forward, as monstrous black chi spread from him. The hearts of those experts pounded upon seeing such an appearance, as they hurriedly pulled back a little. After all, there were no profound death stage experts present on their side, hence it was impossible for them to fight the former. Ha ha, Elder Mosia, please do not be angry. This is merely a misunderstanding. Just as Old Demon Mosia was about to go on a killing rampage, several rays of light suddenly arrived from the distant sky. The white-clothed Zhu Gan and Chen Ying once again appeared. This time, each of them had an elder at their side. Faint black chi rose from the bodies of these 2 elders. They were clearly also experts at the profound death stage. Clearly, their powerful reinforcements had also hurried over during this period of time. It's Elder Qin from the Universe Cave and Elder Liu from the Illusionary Demon Sect. Old Demon Mosia's eyes paused on those 2 elders, before he laughed coldly. Old Demon Mosia, given your status, bullying these youngsters is not an indication of ability. That white-haired old man called Elder Qin smiled at Old Demon Mosia and said. Old Demon Mosia's eyes were dark. He coldly said, that is none of your business. Ha ha, I heard that the Silver Tower has fallen into the hands of your demonic wind cave. Our illusionary demon sect also wishes to have a share. That Elder Liu from the illusionary demon cave laughed loudly and said. Elder Liu is right. Elder Mosia, why not your demonic wind cave be a little magnanimous and allow everyone to enjoy the Silver Tower? Elder Qin laughed. In your dreams. Elder Mosia's eyes turned cold as he said. If that is the case, both Elder Qin and I might have to exchange blows with you today. Elder Liu smilingly stated. Do you think that I am afraid of the both of you? Old Demon Mosia's pupils tightened a little, as he coldly cried out. 2 elders, we will not be able to take out the Silver Tower regardless of how you threaten us today. By the side, Xie Yang knitted his brows and said. What do you mean? Elder Qin frowned and asked. Xie Yang hesitated for a moment before replying, earlier, the Silver Tower in our hands has already been snatched by Lin Dong. Everyone in the air was startled after these words were uttered. Soon after, mockery surged in their eyes. Old Demon Mosia, do you really treat us as 3-year-olds? It is said that Lin Dong is merely an initial profound life stage expert, yet he can actually snatch something from you, a profound death stage expert. Do you really think I have gone senile or that we are all stupid? Elder Liu laughed coldly. Old Demon Mosia's face twitched. He immediately spoke in a venomous voice, regardless of whether you believe it or not, the item is no longer with us. This old man will accompany all of you to the end if you really wish to fight. Elder Liu and Elder Qin looked at this appearance of Old Demon Mosia, and were slightly startled, before they quickly frowned. Could it be that Xie Yang was speaking the truth? But how could that be possible? How could Lin Dong have snatched something from the hands of a profound death stage expert? Everyone from the demonic wind cave follow me. That brat should still be nearby. Old Demon Mosia glanced at Elder Qin's group with dark and solemn eyes. Without saying anything unnecessary, he turned around and flew off. He was really unable to swallow this. In the air, everyone watched as the group from the demonic wind cave swiftly left. All of them were momentarily speechless. The one who had benefited in the end was that little brat called Lin Dong? Elder Qin, that Lin Dong is rumored to have once seriously injured the nefarious Bone Old Man of the demonic wind cave. He should be in possession of an extremely powerful technique. It is not completely unbelievable for him to snatch something from the hands of Old Demon Mosia. Zhu Gan frowned and said as he watched this scene. If that is really the truth, this little fellow is really a little formidable. Elder Qin quickly laughed softly. No wonder Old Demon Mosia has become so angry from humiliation. So that is the reason, if this news spread, he will lose all his face. What should we do? Zhu Gan asked. Regardless of what kind of technique that little fellow has, he is after all only an initial profound life stage expert. Even though he was able to force Old Demon Mosia back, he will definitely have paid quite a hefty price. At this moment, he should already be at his limit. Elder Qin's eyes flickered as he said, "Give the instruction to search for traces of Lin Dong. The Silver Tower will belong to our universe cave if we capture him." Zhu Gan nodded. After which, he turned around and gathered the experts from the universe cave. After some soft words, everyone turned into many light figures and rushed forth. While the universe cave acted, the eyes of the other factions also flickered, and they also began to move. From the way they saw it, it was beneficial for them that the Silver Tower had landed in Lin Dong's hands. After all, regardless of how one put it, dealing with one Lin Dong was ultimately easier than dealing with the demonic wind cave. Hurried rushing wind sounds suddenly appeared above the blue sea, as two rays of lights approached from the distance. The wind pressure formed from their great speed as they flew past imprinted two deep water scars on the surface of the sea. I'm afraid that news of us having snatched the Silver Tower has spread. One of the light rays paused slightly, and a human figure was revealed. Lin Dong peered into the distance behind him and frowned slightly. Earlier, he had sensed a large amount of searching auras. However, that scale of it was clearly not something that a single demonic wind cave alone could achieve. There was only one answer to this. News of them having snatched the Silver Tower had spread. Brother Lin Dong, what should we do now? Mu Lingshan followed beside Lin Dong and asked in a clear voice. We will need to hide for the time being. Lin Dong muttered. Currently, his condition was extremely terrible. He might have frightened away Old Demon Mosia earlier, but he had completely exhausted himself. It was likely that he would have difficulty being of much help if they encountered a pursuer. Additionally, with the Silver Tower in his hands, he also needed to find the time to study just how this thing was related to the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol. Mu Lingshan did not have any objections, and nodded immediately. Lin Dong waved his sleeve upon seeing this, and the burning sky cauldron once again flew out. Finally, a bright light surged and sucked the both of them into it. Next, the burning sky cauldron turned into a flash of red light that charged into the sea and disappeared with a flash. Some rushing wind sounds appeared from the distance soon after the Lin Dong duo had submerged into the sea. Over a dozen figures flew past. Their eyes swept over the surface of the sea, before they cursed and swiftly spread out again. The entire sea region had clearly become extremely lively at this moment. A tiny scarlet red light flickered at the bottom of a huge reef deep under the sea, where a palm-sized cauldron was hidden. It was perfectly hidden when the light was withdrawn. All the fluctuations from within it disappeared. It was likely that even a profound death stage expert would be unable to detect it when passing by. All pure yuan treasures had their own unique aspect, like the life-death coffin cover in Mu Lingshan's hands. Although this burning sky cauldron's offensive strength was inferior to the life-death coffin cover, this burning sky cauldron had a domain within it. From a certain point of view, the burning sky cauldron had clearly surpassed the life-death coffin cover. At this moment, Lin Dong was seated in the air within the domain of the burning sky cauldron. There was a small silver tower quietly floating in front of him. A faint fluctuation spread while being vaguely accompanied by the sound of thunder. "Brother, Lin Dong, you can slowly study it. I will first take a nap." Mu Lingshan looked at this scarlet-red realm within the cauldron in an extremely bored manner. She lazily stretched her waist and took out the life-death coffin cover under Lin Dong's eyes, which had an expression of neither being able to laugh nor cry. After which, she once again lay on it like a little cat and fell into a deep sleep. This girl. Lin Dong smiled helplessly and ignored her. He turned his eyes and looked at the small silver tower with excitement. After musing for a moment, he suddenly extended his finger and gently touched the icy cold tower. At the same time, a trace of mental energy flowed through his finger and attempted to enter the silver tower. The silver tower suddenly shook the moment Lin Dong's mental energy made contact with it. A thunder-like roar suddenly resounded, and directly scattered the mental energy from Lin Dong. Lin Dong emitted a muffled moan from his throat. His finger had been blasted away, and its tip was a little numb. He frowned slightly as he looked at the silver tower. At this moment, sparks had begun to the surface on the silver tower. It was precisely these things that stopped Lin Dong's probing. "Yang, what is going on?" Lin Dong asked in his heart. "There is a seal on this silver tower. It will not be easy to obtain the information within it. You should be glad for this. Otherwise, the information within it would have long since been obtained by the demonic wind cave." Yang said. "What should we do?" Lin Dong frowned. This seal appeared to be relatively powerful. If even the demonic wind cave was unable to break it within a short period of time, it was likely that he would also be unable to do anything. This silver tower contains a trace of Thunderbolt ancestral symbol's power, which should also be source of the seal. An ordinary person will have to spend a great amount of effort in order to break it. However, it is different for you. You possess the devouring ancestral symbol. That trace of the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol's strength will not pose much of an obstruction to you, Yang said. Understood. Lin Dong nodded slightly, and extended his hand. Black light suddenly shot out from his fingertip, and directly entered the silver tower. Some white smoke was immediately emitted from the silver tower's surface when the black thread formed by devouring power shot over. The flickering lightning had also gradually weakened. From the looks of it, it seemed their energy source had been slowly swallowed by the black light thread. The lightning and the black light thread's face-off continued for around half an hour. After which, the web of lightning flickering over the silver tower finally began to dim little by little until it finally completely vanished. A soft muffled sound was emitted from within the silver tower after the final traces of lightning was removed. Lin Dong's mouth parted into a smile after seeing this, and a trace of mental energy once again invaded it. This invasion was no longer faced any resistance. After the mental energy surged in, many images poured into Lin Dong's mind. Bang bang bang. The first that entered his eyes was a black mass of clouds without end. Lightning shuttled through the clouds like swimming dragons, the thunder would rumble from time to time, reverberating endlessly across the sky. There was a vast sea under this seemingly endless black thunder clouds. The sea also did not appear to have a boundary. Moreover, the sea was pitch black, and at a glance, it appeared exactly the same as the black clouds in the sky. From a distance, the thunder clouds and the vast sea seemed to merge together. Its pure blackness caused one to feel fear. Lin Dong's mental energy floated over this thundercloud world. Each time thunder rang out, he would feel his mental energy tremble slightly. It was the feeling of fear. Lin Dong peered into the distance. Suddenly, countless thunderbolts came pouring down from the sky. Finally, they smashed into a certain part of the sea. The sea water quickly boiled, and silver lightning frantically spread over the surface of the sea. While the glow of lightning filled the sky, Lin Dong could faintly see an extremely huge cave. This cave was covered by lightning, and its bright silver glow was extremely glaring. At the same time, a wild, violent and vast fluctuation rippled outwards, causing huge and towering waves to form on this sea region. Is this the cave dwelling left behind by that reincarnation stage expert? Lin Dong's eyes narrowed slightly as he looked at the enormous cave within the lightning. In the next moment, black light gushed out in his eyes, as the lightning glow that filled the surroundings of the cave gradually disappeared at this moment. Lin Dong's eyes swept over the cave an inch at a time. In the end, they suddenly focused on the deepest part of the cave, where an extremely dazzling lightning glow was present. Moreover, he was able to see liquid lightning slowly flowing within the lightning glow. This liquid lightning did not have a specific form. At times it took the shape of a sword, the shape of a thunderbolt, the shape of an extremely ancient symbol. The liquid lightning gave off an aura that Lin Dong was extremely familiar with. This aura was practically from the same source as that of the devouring ancestral symbol. Lin Dong inhaled deeply. Wild joy that was difficult to restrain surged into his heart at this moment. He was aware that the liquid lightning should be the second ancestral symbol which he had been searching for, the thunderbolt ancestral symbol. Bang! A 10,000 feet large thunderbolt suddenly ferociously poured down from the sky. The world was torn apart at this moment. The loud rumbling sound caused Lin Dong's mental energy to be dazzled. By the time he regained his senses, he had already withdrawn from the Silver Tower. A bolt of lightning from within the Silver Tower chased Lin Dong's mental energy as it withdrew. In the end, it shot into Lin Dong's forehead. A great amount of information poured in like floodwater when the lightning shot into Lin Dong's head. This continued for a long time, before finally stopping. Lin Dong's finger gently rubbed the space between his brows. After which, he digested the large amount of information. His expression was a little unstable amidst this digestion. This continued for over 10 minutes, before his narrowed eyes finally opened completely. Soon after, he lifted his head and spat out a ball of white vapor from his mouth. Sky Lightning Sea Region, the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol is at that place her. Sky Lightning Sea Region was the land of lightning which Lin Dong had seen within the Silver Tower. It was where the reincarnation stage expert's cave dwelling was located. Moreover, the lightning glow from earlier also contained the exact location of Sky Lightning Sea Region. When Lin Dong compared it with the second ancestral symbol's location, he did indeed discover that the location of the two were exactly the same. In other words, this Thunderbolt ancestral symbol was the second ancestral symbol indicated on the mental map that Lin Dong had obtained. The word fate was truly impossible to explain. Sky Lightning Sea Region should be an unknown sea region in the southwest area of the chaotic Demon Sea. Lin Dong's finger rubbed his forehead, as he compared the Sky Lightning Sea Region's sea map with the chaotic Demon sea map that he was aware of and was able to obtain a rough position. That place was indeed some distance away from Sky Merchant region which he was currently in. However, Lin Dong's desire to seek the ancestral symbol would clearly not be obstructed by distance. Lin Dong lowered his head and looked at the Silver Tower before him. A smile of having been relieved from a burden surfaced on this young face, as he muttered softly. It has been so many years. I have finally found you. This video will end here.